as NJ is lounging in the position at the moment, as he is, because he's very comfortable. Welcome back, YouTubers, to another Q&A. This is Q&A number 10 with us, the British Fist. Of course, I am Mr. Parkin. I don't know why I even bother saying my name, because you guys want to hear what NJ is going to be saying after I say this. What's up? How could people not love that, NJ? I don't know. But anyway, Q&A 10, like I said, questions and answers. We're going to be answering your guys' questions. Make sure you subscribe up above, of course. Like this video and put your comments on or down below, and keep sending us your questions in via YouTube inbox, commenting below if you feel the need, and or on our Facebook at facebook.com/British Fist.
Or in the links in the description box below.
Yes, plenty of links down there. Twitter, Skype, Facebook, all the rest of them. Q&A number 10, NJ. Whoa, should we just get onto it now?
Let's go.
Right then. The first question we have is from Brian Nelson, a Facebook friend of ours. He asks us, what do you think of the Uso brothers as a tag team?
Yeah. Stuff like that, yes. Yeah. But when I first saw them, I thought, right, you've got a family that's brought you up to be these wrestlers you are. Let's see you.
Yep.
And when they started wrestling, I just thought, there's nothing too special about these. But now they're getting more involved again. I'm starting to see maybe there is something there and they'll be good. What
I like about the Uso brothers is they're a generic tag team, which means they're both family members, kind of, you know, like the Hardy Boys, Dudley Boys, Edge and Christian. They're kind of more like those tag teams rather than your average sort of random tag team, which is why I'm starting to like the Uso brothers a bit more now, and they're starting to have good matches with Justin Gabriel and Gabriel and Heath Slater, sorry. Which really is making me more interested in that tag team. So for me, they're an improving tag team. I think WWE could use them in a good way. Whether or not they will, though, is a question.
And with there not being so many tag teams, we need a group like them.
Yes.
So yes.
We definitely do. The Black Rose, 1991. You remember we dedicated a video to him before. We gave him a shout out then, and we're going to give him a shout out now. Subscribe to the Black Rose 1991, a fellow Brit. You should definitely check him out. Again, we'll put his link in the description box below so you can check this guy out. He asks us a very interesting question, a very unique question. With this being 2011 and social media websites like Facebook being so prominent, do you think the Internet Championship should be made an officially sanctioned championship to help reflect real-life society? No. I think there's a simple answer to that.
I think we've answered this in a TNA question in the past. That belt,
no. I don't think they should bring a title like that into WWE, really, and just no. I'm sorry, James, no.
No, James.
Let's go on to the next question.
Yes, we should.
The next question comes from John Michael Little, from another Facebook friend. We've got a lot of Facebook questions here. Do you think we are getting ready to see a serious turn of the tides in WWE with Johnny Laurinaitis getting heat by not re-signing WWE top talent? Well, if you're you know, the guy who's supposed to be recruiting top talent and you're not signing them, then you're going to get heat from a lot of people, especially when you can't keep top guys like CM Punk and maybe Rey Mysterio, MVP, Chris Jericho, guys like that. You're going to get heat if you've got John Laurinaitis.
I think because you're losing a lot of great wrestlers that did great for the WWE. Yep. So when you don't do it, yes, there will be some serious stuff going on.
Hopefully they will get someone, maybe get someone new into the position. I heard they might be getting someone new into the position just so they can actually keep their top talent. Because at the moment, losing top stars is a very big problem with WWE at the moment. And making new stars is even more of a bigger problem. That's another question for another day. But hopefully we'll see a serious turn of the tide soon, because WWE do need to change this up somehow and really keep their main event stars, or else they're just gonna lose all of them, aren't they? Yep, unfortunately. Yep. The next question comes from John. I can never say this name. I don't know why. John Odewale. I'll call him John Odewale. That's how I'm going to say it. He asks us, who do you think are the top 10 most underrated wrestlers in the WWE? And we have compiled a list of 10. Do you want to start, NJ, or do you want me to start? I'll start.
Yeah.
First guy I'm going to say is a very underrated guy, is Christian. And mainly because Christian has been around WWE for 14 years, around wrestling for about 17 years now. He's one of them guys, in my opinion, that never really got his chance at the main event until recently, obviously. He was the champion for, 2 days in real life, 5 days storyline. Again, I like it. I like the way he's being utilised in the main event scene, but I think he's one of those guys that's been really underutilised and can be definitely used a lot better, as he does have more talent than we really think he does, in my opinion.
That is very true. Again, when Christian won his championship, I was like, okay, this could be interesting, but it's such a shame he didn't hold it for long.
Yep.
And then we have the next one is William Regal.
And not because he's British.
No.
It's just because he is underrated.
And we've seen him working different roles in the WWE, and he did the roles all greatly. So I think
remember the commissioner,
someone's manager. wrestler. I think he could be a good mid-card champion again.
Yeah, we appreciate the fact now is he's training other guys now. That's kind of his job in WWE. He's a backstage guy training people like Daniel. He's training people like Daniel Bryan. So you know, he is very underrated, and I do think he's a guy who can really be used big in the WWE, especially in the WWE. They can really use him quite well, in my opinion. The next guy for me who's very underrated is Shelton Benjamin. I think Shelton Benjamin is mainly underrated because he only really ever got a shot at the mid-card, and he really did show signs that he could possibly be in this main event. The only problem is he didn't have the look Vince McMahon had for a main event guy at the time. I do really think he was underrated just because of his size and everything.
And the sad thing is, I hope he didn't just change this just for the Intercontinental or the US, but he called himself the gold standard. I was really hoping that name actually changed.
Yeah.
For the main event.
It's a bit like the Chosen one, though, isn't it, with Drew McIntyre?
Sadly,
the name doesn't guarantee you a main event slot, does it?
No, but talk about Drew McIntyre.
Oh, fucking hell.
He's our next choice.
Yeah.
He's been, when he first joined, he came in as the Chosen one. He got involved. He got involved in the general manager. He was doing all great stuff. And then he suddenly went downhill too quickly. And I'm just thinking, he could have done wonders on Smackdown main events.
Again, it's Smackdown overall main events, to be honest. But again, I think Drew McIntyre is a guy that's been severely underutilized. Very underrated as a wrestler, in my opinion. We know that he's only, 26 years old? Something like that. He's a very young, talented superstar. And in my opinion, very, very underrated. Just because of the way WWE are using him at the moment. They're using him like shit when they really could be using him. Even if it's in the mid-card, they could really use him in that mid-card championship, especially on a place like SmackDown, which really needs some roster at the moment.
I think... Yeah, poor Drew McIntyre. Let's just hope he gets lifted up against him.
I'll let you do the next one, MJ. Is your underrated superstar?
Next one, we have Chavo Canelo!
Definitely, in my opinion, an underrated superstar.
We saw him at Royal Rumble. He did great. And I was thinking, right, this is going to be a sign for the next couple of weeks, months after the Royal Rumble. But no, they've made him go downhill. And especially with his cousin, nephew, Eddie Guerrero, I was really thinking, right, work on off him. Yes, he might not make it to the main events, but he could be used in some kind of good capacity.
Chavo is one of those guys like Eddie. You could always put on a great match. Always put in 100% in matches, and you always got a good match. Remember, whether he was a heel or a face, and it was just one of those wrestlers who could, like Eddie Guerrero, he could play a heel or a face incredibly well, be over with the crowd incredibly well. And I think his best work was as a heel. I loved his rivalry with Rey Mysterio. I do think he's a really, really good wrestler who is very underrated. And I really believe he's been released.
No, I can't either.
No. The next guy we're going to go on to, as NJ is signalling to us, is CM Punk. Now, one of the reasons I believe CM Punk is underrated, mainly because I think he is, like he said, he is probably the best wrestler in the world, but but he's not. The problem is he's not really been involved in main events as much as I would like him to be. I do think he should be in this main event star prominently because he is a great heel. His promos are brilliant, and like NJ just signified, he's gone downhill very much until obviously he's leaving or something. He's created this huge storyline for himself, which is going back up there.
It's sad that if he is leaving, it's sad that he's getting that lift before he leaves. He should never have gone downhill. He should have kept on going up.
And your next underrated superstar, your favourite?
Kane!
And why is Kane underrated in your opinion?
Right, when he first came in, he went straight after the big one of the Taker. Then he went on to being this monster. Then he went on to becoming the champion. Then he went on having the tag title. He went on having all these title defences. Then he recently, as we saw, he went back against the Undertaker. Did great against him. Became the world heavyweight champion. And I'm thinking he's done all this great big stuff, and now you're using him. As you've heard on SmackDown before, he just wants to be back as a monster and back where he should be. Yeah,
I do agree. Kane, he's one of those guys that is very loyal. Has always been with the company. He definitely deserved a couple of World Heavyweight Championship reigns. I don't think he's had enough. But again, he's a great worker and he's a great addition to WWE, which good for WWE in my opinion. The next three guys which I'm going to talk about are more old school wrestlers that I think were very underrated, mainly because they were never made WWE or WWF at the time champion. Firstly, you've got a guy like Mr. Perfect, Kurt Hennig. Once again, we all know how accomplished a wrestler he was. He was called Mr. Perfect. He never won a WWF Championship, and in my opinion, that means he is very underrated as a wrestler, especially seeing as he is in the Hall of Fame and he's a wrestler renowned by everyone who really is in the wrestling business.
And with this name, he definitely matched up to his name. He definitely did the best he can in all of his matches.
He was, as most people know him as, Perfect.
There we go.
The next guy who I think is very underrated, and it's mainly because of his brother, is Owen Hart. Now, Owen Hart was a guy, he was very overshadowed by Bret Hart, who was always in the main event and always this #1 guy in WWF at the time. And Owen Hart was, in fact, a very accomplished wrestler. If you go back and watch his matches, he was a great heel. He was really a good worker in the ring. He was involved in one of the best openers in WrestleMania history, in my opinion, with Owen Hart and Bret Hart. In my opinion, the fact that he never won a WWF title makes him underrated once again, and it's just like Mr. Perfect does.
He did get involved with some of the big wrestlers, so you thought there was going to be something there, but sadly he never got it.
Just never got that shining light which he wanted, which was the WWF title.
That's true.
The final guy I'm going to talk about here is Rick Rude. And Rick Rude, again, was a very underrated guy, just because he had a fucking awesome gimmick, which was really good back in the early 90s. Again, he never got the title, and it just really, for me, makes him an underrated guy. The fact that a guy like Rick Rude, who had the great gimmick like he did, a great heel gimmick, just never got the title.
The thing is, with the heel, it would have been good to have a heel champion. Yeah. I think Rick Rude would have been a good one.
Back in the day, though, that was when babyfaces always had the championship, like Hulk Hogan and Randy Savage. So the good heels like that just couldn't get championships.
No, Rick Rude would have been a good champion.
Nope. Yeah, he would have actually. Sorry, I said no there. The next question we're going to go on to is Cov JJ. I hope I said that right. 365. He asks us, what are your thoughts on WWE Tough Enough winner Andy Levine? He says, I reckon with good development, he could become a big superstar in the future for the WWE. He could become a good monster heel with his name Silent Rage and follow in the footsteps of Kane. What are your opinions on Andy Levine? He's got big footsteps to follow if he's going for Kane.
Yeah, yes. He's got to go quite far to get there.
Yeah.
He's got a few years.
Yeah, go on then. What are your opinions of Andy Levine from what you've seen of him so far?
Video packages that he said about his growing up and how he was raised and how he got to where he is. But at the moment, he's just not doing much for me. He's flying about somewhere, and at the minute, he's got a look about him. But I'm not sure about him yet.
Trouble is, we haven't really seen him in the ring yet. Until we see him in the ring, we can't really, because we didn't watch Tough Enough, we can't really have a big opinion of him until he gets into the ring and actually shows us what he can do. So I don't really have any opinion on him. He's a very big guy, obviously. He'll have to train himself up a little bit, in my opinion, because I don't think he was the best wrestler they had on that program.
And I kind of think it's unfair comparing him to Kane.
Well, with NJ being a Kane mark, you're always going to get that from him. But the next question we got was from Wolf Undead 1988. I wonder when he was born. He said, if you had to pick one wrestler on SmackDown to be in the main event as a face, who would it be?
SmackDown face
in the main event.
Okay.
Who are you going to say?
I'm thinking, because at the minute, I'm going to say Kane.
Of course you're going to say Kane. You're a Kane mark. In my opinion, based on the fact that he's won Money in the Bank, Daniel Bryan could be a main event face on SmackDown. Very over as a face on SmackDown. Maybe you can become a new face. Who really knows? But Daniel Bryan is one of those guys that's going to probably become a main baby face in the future.
In a few years'
this time, it might be good to see Justin Gabriel. Oh, yeah, just guys like Justin Gabriel. Maybe even Ted DiBiase. Who knows?
Ted DiBiase.
Bit of a long shot.
He's got the look, kind of, when he was in Legacy. So, yeah, he could be one.
Hopefully, they'll turn him babyface soon, too. So, there's not very many faces to choose from at the moment on SmackDown, in my opinion. But, guys like, those guys we mentioned would be good in the main event with Orton, especially. But there'd only be number 2 baby faces behind him, because obviously Orton is going to be the number 1 baby face on that show.
We've seen Kane versus Orton in previous SmackDown, so there could be a sign there. I keep bringing up Kane just because I think he should be there.
God's sake, Andrew. The next question comes around. This is a personal question. He says, I'm fairly new to you guys, and I really enjoy your videos. I'm just chatting about wrestling with you. Thank you very much. We enjoyed chatting to you too. So I was wondering how the two of you met.
Oh, I don't know. I think we've just met today.
Yeah, we met today, randomly.
Next question?
Okay, we'll go to the real story.
Okay.
Me and NJ have been friends, well, we've been friends really ever since, we were pretty much born, because our mums were good friends. We've always known each other, but lately, because we've both been into wrestling, and because, and me and NJ have been talking about stuff, and we've become a lot closer lately, which is why we now do videos together. So that's pretty much how we met. We met for our mums, but we've lately become friends and better friends and YouTube buddies, just because we've been talking to each other more about, issues and stuff, and it's just brought us closer together, isn't it?
And all I can say is that we're friends, that we're not going to break up. If you come between us, I'm going to knock you out. Come on.
Calm down, NJ.
Yeah. Leave my friend alone.
You need a monster. But anyway, that is how we met.
Yeah, is it?
It's a very, very romantic story, but oh well. Next question we have is from King of Kings 01. God,
King of Kings.
You'd like this guy just because he's got Triple H in his name. What do you think was the best pay-per-view and why? I'm going to go to you first on this one.
Ooh, good question.
I think SummerSlam 2002.
I'm going to say the SummerSlam collection, apart from 2004, I can go that way. But again, it's hard to pick one. WrestleManias are meant to be good, SummerSlams are meant to be good. But my favourite one would be anyone that is SummerSlam or WrestleMania. I can't really pick one because with me, I'm two-sided. And I think every event has something good that I like about it. So
I can pick two out straight away. SummerSlam 2002 I really liked, just because it had a really solid card. And WrestleMania 19, just because it had 5 main event style matches on it. Jericho Michaels. You also had Hogan versus Vince McMahon, Triple H versus Booker T, Lesnar versus Angle, and Rock versus Stone Cold. So it had 5 real main event quality matches on it, which really made it very good in my opinion.
And there's WrestleMania 13 that everyone loves how big it is. So yeah, so I'm going to say any of them.
I mean, in my opinion, SummerSlam 2002 and WrestleMania 19 would be the ones to pick out for me. If I was going to have to say one, I would say WrestleMania 19, just because it was such a great, it was such a good supercard in my opinion. What's yours? Just pick one. WrestleMania 25. I know you like that.
That was full of good things, but it's not my favourite.
Okay.
So it's going to be
WrestleMania 17.
It'll be that, I think. Yeah.
Just because it was an iconic WrestleMania, we both remember it. It was a personal preference favourite, you know.
Yeah, that's true.
All right then. The last question we're going to do is from. Oh, I think you should do this because it's a YouTube question. It's a Twitter question.
Shane McWee.
Yeah.
Also name is James Coyle.
Yep.
Asks, what do you think Punk was going to say before his mic got cut off? And do you think it was planned? Well, this is going back to the Raw
Roulette, isn't it?
Back near there.
Yeah, it was Raw Roulette. Yeah, a long time ago.
I think he would have gone on more about the McMahon family because there's a lot he could have said about Vince. And I think you've just wanted it all out. And a couple of weeks afterwards, you did see him actually say more that he needed to say.
There's a lot of people that say it would be planned because a lot of things in WWE have worked. I personally think, just from the way it was done, that it wasn't planned because a lot of people they cut his mic out for a reason. Unless it was planned, of course. Who really knows?
I don't think it was planned. I think it was just CM Punk finally having his say about how bad the WWE is at the moment.
He finally had the balls to say what a lot of people didn't have the balls to say, and I respect CM Punk a hell of a lot for that, even if it was storyline.
And I'm going to plug Twitter. I'm going to plug. Loads of people have been praising the things he said. There's been The Rock. There's been Booker T. There's been Chris Jericho. People have been praising things. Mick Foley. There's been people who've been praising things he said. So I think it was unplanned, but it was good to say.
Yep, and that concludes our 10th Q&A. We've had a lot of questions from you guys, and we've really enjoyed answering. Make sure you keep sending your questions in, of course, because we're going to continue doing these Q&As for as long as we can. Get them in the comment section below, YouTube inbox us, or get us at facebook.com/BritishFist. NJ, last words.
And make sure you keep the questions coming because we'd love to answer them. You've asked us good questions so far, and this has been it from the British Fist.
Hey!
Ka-ching!
And I just want you to do your WhatsApp again. Do it.
What's up?
Mr. Parkin is saying
goodbye.
Goodbye.